let's take a moment to appreciate what the avocado really represents. It's not just another fruit you slice onto toast or mash into guacamole. It is, in many ways, nature's perfectly packaged medicine. For seniors especially, this humble green fruit holds tremendous potential to transform health, energy, and longevity. The avocado is unique because it combines nutrients that support several systems in the body simultaneously, something that very few foods can claim. And when we're talking about health in our later years, we're not just talking about adding more years to life, we're talking about adding more life to those years. Now, let's look at why the avocado has earned such respect in the world of nutrition. Unlike many fruits that are primarily sugar-based, the avocado is rich in healthy monounsaturated fats. These are the same heart protective fats that make olive oil so famous in Mediterranean diets. For seniors, this matters because the heart is often the most vulnerable organ with age. Arteries stiffen, blood pressure rises, and the risk of cardiovascular events increases. But the fats in avocado help improve cholesterol balance, lower harmful LDL levels, and support the integrity of blood vessels. In essence, it acts like a natural protector of your cardiovascular system, keeping the engine of life, your heart, running smoothly. But it doesn't stop there. Avocados are also loaded with fiber, which becomes increasingly important as we age. Digestion slows down with time, metabolism shifts, and constipation becomes a frequent complaint. By simply adding avocado to your meals, you're giving your gut the support it needs. Fiber not only aids digestion, but also stabilizes blood sugar levels, which is critical for seniors managing diabetes or prediabetes. Think of fiber as the regulator that keeps your system steady, preventing the highs and lows that can drain energy or trigger cravings. And then there's potassium, one of the most overlooked nutrients in the senior diet. Most people think of bananas when they think of potassium, but avocados actually contain more of it. Potassium is essential because it helps regulate blood pressure, supports muscle function, and maintains electrolyte balance. For seniors, this is crucial. Low potassium can contribute to muscle weakness, irregular heartbeat, and even increase the risk of falls. Every fall avoided is a potential life saved, and that's not an exaggeration. Something as small as incorporating potassium-rich foods like avocado could be the difference between frailty and strength, between independence and dependence. We also cannot ignore the role of antioxidants. Avocados contain compounds like lutein and zeaxanthin, which specifically support eye health. As age, related macular degeneration, and cataracts threaten vision, these natural pigments can protect and preserve eyesight. Losing vision is more than a medical issue. It's a loss of freedom. When you safeguard your eyes, you safeguard your connection to the world around you. Imagine the difference between being able to read to your grandchildren, enjoy a sunset, or simply navigate your home safely versus living in fear of losing those simple joys. Avocados contribute to that preservation of independence. And beyond the body, let's talk about the mind. The healthy fats in avocados are essential for brain health. The brain is about 60% fat, and it thrives when nourished by quality fats rather than processed oils or trans fats. Studies increasingly link monounsaturated fats with sharper memory, better focus, and reduced risk of cognitive decline. For seniors, this is not about vanity, it's about preserving dignity. The ability to remember names, recall cherished memories, and stay mentally engaged is part of what gives life meaning. Avocado helps fuel that capacity. Here's where the psychological and philosophical depth comes in. We often separate food and medicine into two distinct categories, one for enjoyment, the other for healing. But that separation is artificial. The avocado is proof that food is medicine. When you take a bite of it, you are not simply eating. You are engaging in an act of self-preservation, a conscious decision to care for the only body you will ever have. Seniors in particular cannot afford to see meals as casual or thoughtless. Every bite either builds resilience or erodes it. Avocado offers us the chance to build. And yet, as powerful as the avocado is, it comes with responsibility. That is why this speech is not simply about celebrating its benefits, but about highlighting the mistakes that can turn this blessing into a burden. Because food, like medicine, is dose-dependent. Too much or used in the wrong way, and even the healthiest food can become a problem. But before we address those mistakes, it's important to understand this foundational truth. The avocado is a gift, but it is up to us to use it wisely. So the next time you see that green fruit sitting on your kitchen counter, I want you to look at it differently. Don't just see it as part of your meal. See it as part of your medicine cabinet, a natural prescription for a stronger heart, a sharper mind, better digestion, steadier blood pressure, and clearer vision. See it as a symbol of the truth we often forget, that nature has already given us the tools as we need to heal, but it is our awareness, our choices, that determine whether those tools serve us or harm us. And that is where I want to leave you with this thought: the avocado can extend not just your years, but the quality of your years, but only if you respect its power. Treat food as your ally, and you'll find your body and mind repaying you with vitality. Treat it carelessly, and the very thing that could heal you could hurt you. The choice, as always, begins with awareness. And today, you have that awareness.
Use it.
Here's where we need to pause and confront one of the most common misconceptions about healthy foods like the avocado: the belief that because it is good for us, more must always be better. This is a mistake that countless people make, and for seniors, it can be an especially dangerous one. The avocado is nutrient dense, but it is also calorie dense. A single medium-sized avocado contains more than 300 calories and about 30 grams of fat. Yes, these are the good fats we've praised, but your body does not see them in isolation. It still has to process them, and when taken in excess, they can begin to tip the delicate balance your body works so hard to maintain. Think of it this way: food is like medicine, and medicine has a dosage. You wouldn't take double the dose of a prescription drug just because it worked well at the regular amount. That would be reckless. Yet, with food, we often abandon this wisdom. Seniors in particular may think, if avocado helps my heart, protects my eyes, and nourishes my brain, why not eat it every day, maybe 2 or 3 a day? The problem is that the body's needs are not limitless. Extra calories, even from healthy fat, can accumulate as weight gain, and weight gain in the senior years isn't just about vanity. It adds stress to the joints, increases blood pressure, worsens diabetes risk, and can even accelerate cardiovascular decline. And here's the subtlety that many miss: the issue is not just the weight itself, but the psychological relationship with food. Overconsumption of something, even something healthy, creates an illusion of security. You start to believe you're doing all the right things because you're eating superfoods. But the truth is, no single food, no matter how powerful, can offset an imbalanced diet. If you pile avocado on your plate while ignoring variety, you're missing the broader symphony of nutrients your body depends on. Health is not built on one instrument, it is built on harmony. This is where philosophy meets nutrition. Life is not just about abundance, it's about balance. Nature teaches this in every season. Too much sun burns, too much rain floods, too much wind destroys. The same is true inside your body. A little avocado is life-giving. Too much, too often, begins to strain your system. The kidneys must work harder to filter. The pancreas must manage the influx of fats, and the digestive tract may respond with bloating or discomfort. Seniors who already have gallbladder issues or slower digestion can experience this imbalance even more acutely. Let's make it practical. For most seniors, half an avocado a day is plenty. Some may benefit from just 2 to 3 servings per week. The key is mindfulness. Instead of treating the avocado as a free pass to indulgence, treat it as a special ingredient, a concentrated source of healing that works best in moderation. Add half to a salad or a few slices on whole grain toast, or mix it into a smoothie. Use it as part of a balanced meal, not the entire meal itself. But here's another trap: portion distortion. Modern diets have conditioned us to believe that bigger is better. Restaurants serve oversized portions, and many of us carry that expectation into our homes. The same applies to avocados. We don't always notice how much we're consuming. One whole avocado in a smoothie, half on a sandwich, another half as guacamole. It adds up quickly. By the end of the day, you might have eaten 2 or 3 avocados without realizing it. That's not healthy moderation. That's imbalance disguised as virtue. And there's a psychological layer to this that deserves our attention. Overeating healthy foods often comes from an underlying fear: the fear of aging, the fear of disease, the fear of losing control. So we overcompensate, believing if we just eat enough superfoods, we can outsmart time. But aging is not conquered through excess, it is managed through wisdom. Wisdom is the discipline to know when enough is enough. Avocados are not a magic bullet, they are part of a larger lifestyle that includes variety, moderation, and balance. So here's the message I want to leave you with on this point: eating avocados without awareness of portion size is like pouring water into an already full glass. At first, you think you're adding nourishment, but soon it spills over, creating more mess than benefit. Seniors cannot afford that mess, not when every decision carries the weight of maintaining independence, vitality, and longevity. Respect the avocado for what it is: powerful, but not limitless. A partner in your health, not the entire solution. Your body thrives not on extremes, but on balance. And balance is an act of wisdom that requires your attention every single day. So the next time you cut into that avocado, pause before you scoop out the whole thing. Ask yourself, how much do I really need right now to support my health without tipping the scales against myself? In that pause lies the difference between using food as medicine and using food as a crutch. That pause is where wisdom begins. Now, let's step into another mistake that many seniors make when it comes to avocados, mixing them with the wrong foods or ignoring the role that existing health conditions play. This is where something seemingly harmless can turn into a very real risk. We tend to think of food in isolation. Avocado is healthy, so it must always be healthy, no matter what else we put on the plate. But that isn't how the body works. Your body doesn't evaluate foods one at a time, it evaluates the meal as a whole. It sees the chemistry of combinations, and sometimes those combinations can either amplify health or quietly undermine it. Take a simple example. Avocados are rich in healthy fats, which help absorb fat, soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. That's one of the reasons they're so beneficial. But what happens when you combine those healthy fats with processed foods loaded with sodium, refined oils, or saturated fats instead of enhancing nutrient absorption? The avocado is now sitting in a digestive system overwhelmed by salt and processed fats. The superfood effect is drowned out by the junk it's paired with. Many people mash avocado into mayonnaise, pile it on fried chips, or drown it in heavy dressings. The result? What could have been a nutrient-packed boost becomes another calorie bomb that taxes the heart, liver, and arteries. This is particularly dangerous for seniors because metabolism slows with age. The digestive system isn't as efficient. The liver processes fats more slowly, and the heart is already working harder to maintain circulation. Pairing avocado with the wrong foods magnifies those stresses. Instead of supporting longevity, the avocado is unintentionally fueling inflammation, blood pressure spikes, or cholesterol imbalances. Now, let's talk about the second half of this mistake, ignoring pre-existing health conditions. Seniors often live with conditions like kidney disease, heart failure, or diabetes. And while avocados are healthy, they're not neutral. For example, avocados are very high in potassium, which is usually a good thing for controlling blood pressure. But if someone has kidney disease, their kidneys can't filter out excess potassium efficiently. Eating too many avocados in that situation can actually cause dangerously high potassium levels in the blood, leading to irregular heartbeats or even cardiac arrest. Imagine thinking you're doing something wonderful for your health, but because you ignored your condition, that very food becomes a threat. The same goes for those on certain medications. People taking blood thinners like warfarin need to be especially careful about sudden changes in vitamin K intake. And while avocado isn't as high in vitamin K as leafy greens, it can still play a role in altering clotting balance. For seniors already vulnerable to falls or strokes, this kind of oversight can be risky. Even those with digestive issues like irritable bowel syndrome or gallbladder problems may find that too much avocado worsens bloating, discomfort, or sluggish digestion. This is where wisdom must guide us. Avocados are not inherently harmful, but their effects depend on the context of your body and the context of your plate. They are like a powerful tool. In skilled hands, they build and repair. In careless use, they can cause unintended harm. The truth is, many seniors simply don't have these conversations with their doctors or nutritionists. They assume that because something is natural or popular, it doesn't need adjustment for their condition. But health at this stage of life requires precision. Every decision, every bite has a ripple effect. And here's the deeper layer. When we ignore these details, we're not just ignoring nutrition, we're ignoring self-awareness. The body at 60, 70, or 80 is not the body at 20. It carries wisdom, yes, but it also carries fragility. Respecting that fragility doesn't mean giving up pleasure or nourishment. It means honoring reality. To eat wisely is to acknowledge that your body has changed, and that's not a weakness. It's a call for deeper understanding. So how can this look in practice? If you love avocados, enjoy them with fresh vegetables, whole grains, or lean proteins rather than fried or processed foods. If you have kidney issues, check with your doctor about how much avocado you can safely include. If you're on medication, make sure there are no hidden interactions. And most importantly, listen to your body. Notice how it feels after you eat. Does it feel lighter, more energized, or does it feel weighed down? That awareness is often the most accurate guide you'll ever have. At the end of the day, avocados should never be the villain in your diet, but they can become one if you let assumptions or neglect lead the way. The key isn't fear, it's mindfulness. It's about understanding that food is not just fuel, it is information. It speaks to your body, to your chemistry, and to your long-term health. When you choose the right combinations and account for your body's unique needs, the avocado becomes exactly what it was meant to be, a friend to your heart, your mind, and your longevity. But if you forget that wisdom, if you treat it casually, then even this so-called superfood can betray your trust. So I leave you with this thought: every bite you take is either an act of respect for your body or an act of carelessness. When it comes to something as powerful as the avocado, choose respect. Respect your condition, respect your body's limits, and respect the truth that even the healthiest foods demand awareness. That respect will carry you further than any superfood ever could. When we arrive at the final mistakes seniors often make with avocados, they may seem, at first glance, almost trivial. Improper storage and falling for common avocado myths don't sound nearly as threatening as overeating or mixing the wrong foods. But here's where wisdom must speak louder than casual habit. Because the truth is, these small oversights carry a ripple effect that can quietly undo the very health benefits we seek, and in some cases, make an otherwise safe food harmful. Let's start with storage. Most people don't give it much thought. They leave an avocado on the counter until it feels soft, then slice it open. Or they cut it, eat half, and let the rest sit in the fridge, uncovered, browning by the hour. But here's the problem: once an avocado is exposed to air, it begins to oxidize. That browning isn't just a cosmetic issue. It signals a breakdown in nutrients. The powerful antioxidants and heart-healthy fats that make avocados so beneficial begin to degrade. A half-eaten avocado sitting unprotected is no longer the same food you cut into. It has lost some of its vitality. Even worse, improper storage can invite bacteria and foodborne illness. Seniors in particular need to be careful here because their immune systems may not respond as strongly to contamination as they once did. Leaving avocado flesh exposed at room temperature can increase the risk of spoilage. And in a body already navigating other health concerns, even a minor foodborne infection can have serious consequences. There is also a subtle psychological layer here. When you consistently allow food to spoil, even partially, you're training yourself to accept waste, to overlook the sacredness of nourishment. Think about it. The avocado traveled from the soil of another land, nurtured by sunlight and water, harvested and carried through many hands just to arrive on your plate. To let it spoil is not just a nutritional loss, it is a philosophical one. It shows a lack of respect for the gift of food, which in turn reflects a lack of mindfulness about what we put into our bodies. Now, let's turn to myths. One of the most dangerous assumptions about avocados is that they are a miracle food that can be eaten without limits. People think it's a superfood, so I can spread it on everything, every day, and it will only make me healthier. That's simply not true. Even the healthiest food, when consumed without balance, can become harmful. Another myth is that avocado can single-handedly lower cholesterol, cure inflammation, or reverse aging. While avocados certainly contribute to heart health, fight inflammation, and provide nourishing fats, no single food has the power to undo years of poor choices or override genetic tendencies. When seniors fall into this kind of thinking, they risk replacing a balanced, varied diet with an over-reliance on one fruit. And here's where we need to pause and think more deeply. Why do we cling to myths? Because myths are easier than truth. It's easier to believe in a miracle fruit than to face the discipline of building a lifestyle around moderation, variety, and mindfulness. Myths comfort us, but truth transforms us. And the truth is that health is never about one food. It's about the orchestra of foods, habits, and choices playing together in harmony. Avocado can be a beautiful instrument in that orchestra, but it cannot carry the whole symphony. For seniors, especially, falling for myths can be fatal because it encourages neglect. Imagine someone who believes avocado will protect their heart, so they stop paying attention to their blood pressure, their medications, or the salt in their diet. Imagine someone who thinks avocado will solve their cholesterol issues, so they ignore exercise or continue eating processed snacks. The myth replaces accountability with false security. That is how small mistakes become large tragedies. But if we approach avocados, and indeed all foods, with awareness and respect, we reclaim their power. Proper storage keeps their nutrients alive. Rejecting myths helps us see them clearly, not as miracle workers, but as valuable allies in a broader plan. In both cases, what we are really practicing is mindfulness. And mindfulness, more than any diet trend, is what sustains health into our later years. The practical wisdom is simple. Store avocados properly, keep unripe ones at room temperature until they yield gently to touch, then refrigerate to slow further ripening. Cover cut avocados tightly, perhaps with a squeeze of lemon juice to reduce oxidation. And when it comes to beliefs, let go of the myth of the perfect food. Embrace avocados as part of a balanced life. Enjoy them, but never worship them. At its core, this isn't just about avocados. It's about the way we relate to all of our choices. Do we live by habit and assumption, or by wisdom and awareness? Seniors who thrive in their later years are often those who practice this art of awareness in small, daily actions. They see food not just as fuel, but as a relationship, something to be respected, appreciated, and used wisely. And so I will leave you with this: the avocado can be a friend or a foe, depending on how you treat it. Store it carelessly, believe in myths, and it may work against you. Handle it with respect, pair it with truth, and it becomes a partner in health. The same is true for life itself. Every choice, every belief is either careless or conscious. Choose consciousness, choose respect, and you'll find that the simple act of eating, even something as ordinary as an avocado, can become a pathway to extraordinary health.